story from Michael Olive in 2016 from the PBS newsroom went like so. A woman named Chris Sylvan was sitting in her wheelchair in an elevator with her service dog named Earl at attention by her side. The doors opened and in walked a woman carrying a teacup poodle. As soon as the doors closed, the poodle sees Earl, jumps out of the bag, and attacks Earl, leaving him with a bloody nose. At first, this woman claimed that the poodle was her service dog. Then she changed her story and said it was her emotional support animal. She finally admitted that it was just her pet that she had wanted to bring into the building. These instances are becoming more common as emotional support and service animals become more accessible. So today we will be looking at what is happening with fraudulent service animals, why it's a problem, what are the present solutions, and how can these be improved. Unfortunately, due to the growing number of services service dogs assist with, there is also a growing amount of fraudulence and people taking advantage of these policies to cut down on airfare costs, housing costs, and to take their animals into businesses, shops, and restaurants. It is stated in the Assistance Animals Rights of Access and the Problem of Fraud by the ABA Public Policy Welfare Division in 2017 that there are a growing number of websites that are feeding this issue by either selling service dog equipment or allowing owners to take a test, answer a couple simple questions, and then they send them a vest, sometimes as low as a $20 fee. However, this creates many issues because although it may now look like a service animal, it still lacks the behavioral and obedience training that makes service dogs so effective for those who need them. To many dog owners, this may seem harmless. After all, they just wish to bring their four-legged friends with them wherever they go. The Canine Companions for Independence from 2018 lays out this problem it causes. Due to the negative experiences of fraudulent service animals, some businesses are trying to move to not allow them in there at all, which is unfair and bars people who truly need the assistance from entering these places. In other scenarios, handlers of real service dogs may be afraid to take their service animals out into public for fear that they may be attacked by fraudulent service dogs, such as what happened with Earl with the poodle. This can especially be a problem for us here in Myrtle Beach, where there are many veterans and working service dogs. You may say to yourself, wait a minute, isn't there a way that businesses can easily identify if a service dog is fraudulent or not? But as explained by Hall Herzog from Psychology Today in 2014, owners of service animals can only be asked two questions. Does the animal provide a service, and what has the dog been trained to do? There is no universal certification and documentation that is required because there are so many different ways to go about training a service dog, from training schools to handlers just training the animals to fit their personal needs. And as stated in Anything Possible from 2018, you are not allowed to ask the disability that the animal assists with. Although these rules may benefit those who truly require the assistance of service animals and protect their privacy, it does leave many loopholes. According to the Michigan State University College of Law, in 2018, over half the states do not have any laws or legislation against fraudulent service dogs. South Carolina is one of these states. And it's hard to solve a problem or cause people to make changes to these acts if there's no laws or consequences to their actions. Many states are hesitant to make laws because they don't want to make it hard for those who truly need the assistance of service dogs to obtain one. However, some changes will have to be made in order to fill the gaps and loopholes that fraudulent dogs so easily pass through. Regardless of what service it assists with, Requiring the handler and dog to have two things could seal many loopholes. One would be mandatory behavioral and obedience training. This would ensure that no outbursts or things would occur and that the dog would be able and equipped to handle all that it meets in the outside world. Another would be a signed statement from a doctor or mental health care professional in the form of a certificate or card that the business owner can ask for if need be. This would not have to be presented all the time, but would just provide validity to the need. According to the ESA doctors in 2017, this is already a practice many landlords require of renters with emotional support dogs. Extending this requirement wouldn't mean they'd have to show this all the time, as stated. These certificates could be issued under the National Registry, which was suggested by the Mercury News in 2018. This practice, which is optional in most states because handlers are afraid that having a national database would discriminate against them in instances of being an employee or not. However, if the registry operated under a non-discrimination policy, there could be more significant effects in usage of this database. Because the goal is to make the lives of handlers easier and not interfere with their needs or undermine their needs for the service dog. Because a service dog is so much more than the vest it wears, and the handler is so much more than its need for the dog. And nothing should get in the way of that. Now, do we have any questions? Yes.
Why is this such a current issue?
Well, this issue has been growing because the services that service dogs used to assist with were mainly physical disabilities, such as helping blind people or those in wheelchairs. However, because nowadays they're also used for disabilities or things that cannot be seen, such as PTSD or anxiety or depression, it's much easier for these people to categorize their animals under those other categories. Anyone else?
What type of behavioral training are you suggesting that the dogs have?
Behavioral training for these dogs would just be simple things such as obedience, such as sit, stay, don't bark, things like that would just be the required minimum I'm stating here, so that the dog is very much useful to the person, but also so it's able to blend into the environment and help them without being a distraction from society.
Thank you.
Thank you.